Hey, people. First, I would like to apologize for not being on earlier today. I guess it would be yesterday. Technically, it's 12 a.m. here. So, yeah, technically yesterday. Um, I've had an anxiety problem all week. Which is why I haven't been on. Anyway, um, but I'm on now, and I'll be on later on today for Atheist Church. Um, my debunk is up for members. If you would like to become a member, you can become one for as low as 99 cents a month, and you get access to emojis and early debunks. And now, don't have a comment of the week for you. So let's just go right in to Esther 4 through 6. All right, Esther chapter 4. Mordecai heard of all that had been done. He tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the city wailing loudly. He went only as far as the gate because no one clothed in sackcloth was allowed to enter it. In every province to which the edict and order of the king came, there was great mourning among the Jews, with fasting, weeping, and wailing. Many lay in sackcloth and ash. When Esther's eunuchs and lieutenants came and told her about Mordecai, she was in great distress. She sent clothes for him to put on instead of his sackcloth, but he would not accept them. Then Esther summoned Hathach, one of the king's eunuchs assigned to attend her, and ordered him to find out what was troubling Mordecai and why. So Hathach went out to Mordecai in the open square of the city in front of the king's gate. Mordecai told him everything that had happened to him, including the exact amount of money Haman had promised to pay into the royal treasury for the destruction of the Jews. He also gave him a copy of the text of the edict for their annihilation, which had been published in Susa to show to Esther and explain it to her, and he told him to instruct her to go to the king's presence to beg for mercy and plead with him for her people. Hathach went back and reported to Esther what Mordecai had said. Then she instructed him to say to Mordecai, all the king's officials and the people of the royal provinces know that for any man or woman who approaches the king in the inner court without being summoned, the king has but one law, that they be put to death unless the king extends the gold scepter to them and spares their lives. But 30 days have passed since I was called to go to the king. When Esther's words were reported to Mordecai, he sent back this answer. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Gee, Mordecai, do you like to threaten people much? Uh, verse 15. Then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai: Go, gather together the Jews who are in Susa, and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went away and carried out all of Esther's instructions. Chapter 5. On the third day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace in front of the king's hall. The king was sitting on his royal throne in the hall, facing the entrance. When he saw Queen Esther standing in the court, he was pleased with her and held out to her the gold scepter that was in his hand. So Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. Then the king asked, "What is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom it will be given you." "If it pleases the king," replied Esther, "let the king, together with Haman, come today to a banquet I have prepared for him. Bring Haman at once, so that we may do as Esther asks." So the king and Haman went to the banquet Esther had prepared. As they were drinking wine, the king again asked Esther, "Now, what is your petition? It will be given you. And what is your request? Even up to half the kingdom it will be granted." Esther replied, "My petition and my request is this: if the king regards me with favor, and if it pleases the king to grant my petition and fulfill my request, let the king and Haman come tomorrow to the banquet I will prepare for them. Then I will answer the king's question." Haman went out that day happy and in high spirits, but when he saw Mordecai at the king's gate and observed that he neither rose nor showed fear in his presence, he was filled with rage against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman restrained himself and went home. Calling together his friends and Zeresh, his wife, Haman boasted them about his vast wealth, his many sons, and all the ways the king had honored him, and how he had been elevated above the other nobles and officials. "And that's not all," Haman added. "I'm the only person Queen Esther invited to accompany the king to the banquet she gave, and she has invited me along with the king tomorrow. But all this gives me no satisfaction as long as I see that Jew Mordecai sitting at the king's gate." His wife Zeresh and all his friends said to him, "Have a pole set up, reaching to a height of 50 cubits, and ask the king in the morning to have Mordecai impaled on it. Then go with the king to the banquet and enjoy yourself." This suggestion delighted Haman, and he had the pole set up. Chapter 6. That night the king could not sleep, so he ordered the book of the Chronicles, the record of his reign, to be brought and read to him. It was found recorded there that Mordecai had exposed Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's officers who guarded the doorway, who had conspired to assassinate King Xerxes. Remember, this is why the king had honored Mordecai. "What honor and recognition has Mordecai received for this?" the king asked. "Nothing has been done for him," his attendants answered. The king said, "Who is in the court?" Now Haman had just entered the outer court of the palace to speak to the king about impaling Mordecai on the pole he had set up for him. His attendants answered, "Haman is standing in the court. Bring him in," the king ordered. When Haman entered, the king asked him, "What should be done for the man the king delights to honor?" Now Haman thought to himself, "Who is there that the king would rather honor than me?" So he answered the king, "For the man the king delights to honor, have them bring a royal robe the king has worn, and a horse the king has ridden, one with a royal crest placed on its head. Then let the robe and horse be entrusted to one of the king's most noble princes. Let them robe the man the king delights to honor, and lead him on the horse through the city streets, proclaiming before him, 'This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor.'" "Go at once," the king commanded Haman. "Get the robe and horse, and do just as you have suggested for Mordecai the Jew, who sits at the king's gate. Do not neglect anything you have recommended." So Haman got the robe and the horse. He rode Mordecai and led him on horseback through the city and streets, proclaiming before him, "This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor." Afterward, Mordecai returned to the king's gate, but Haman rushed home with his head covered in grief and told Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends everything that had happened to him. His advisers and wife of Zeresh said to him, "Since Mordecai, before whom your downfall has started, is of Jewish origin, you cannot stand against him. You will surely come to ruin." While they were still talking with him, the king's eunuchs arrived and hurried Haman away to the banquet Esther had prepared. Okay, wow, that was short. Whew. Okay, so now that that was the short reading, I want to go ahead and do a comment of the week. Wasn't sure whether I was going to do this or not. Um, hey, and it comes from Bible, Lisa's Bible, Deuteronomy 6:4. And today's comment of the week goes to dun, 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 fish head salad. And they say Genesis 1:26, and God said, "Let us make man in our image after our likeness." John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. God admits right off the bat that he is like 3 in 1, or at least 2 in 1 oil. Don't ask a rabbi to verify this. Always be sure to ask a Sunday Christian when it comes to 3 different ethereal genies that are magically the same genie existing as one. Deuteronomy is an interesting book. It is the book that gives the other 10 commandments, yet again, don't add up to 10. Yeah. There's actually 2 sets of 10 commandments. I love the one about boiling a goat in its mother's milk, not being able to have an ostrich farm, and not being able to eat fried catfish. Okay, so yeah, as for Genesis 1:26, even though you told me not to, well, you didn't tell me not to give the Jewish apologetic on this. You told me not to ask a Jewish rabbi about this, but I'll go ahead and give the Jewish apologetic on this. The Jewish apologetic is that El is one of the names for God, and it means power. So, and him or him, depending on how you pronounce it, is the pluralized ending for the masculine, for any masculine noun. So Elohim would mean, by that reckoning, many powers. Okay. So many powers in one, basically. Many powers under one God. So, Excuse me. Now, the secular answer to this is quite different. Now, if you've seen my Emergence of Israel series, then you'll remember that the Israelites came from the Canaanites. They emerged after the collapse of the Bronze Age. Excuse me. And so in the Canaanite mythology, okay, in the Canaanite mythology, El had a wife, and her name is Asherah. And yeah, you will find her in the Bible. Alright, so El has a wife named Asherah. El and Asherah have 70 sons. El and Asherah have 70 sons. Together, these 72 gods make up the Elohim. That is according to Canaanite mythology. So, take that as you may. In John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It could be was God, or it could be was a God. Could be either one. So, yeah. That is, and also realize this is one of those times where you can quote one Bible verse and support one position, and then quote another Bible verse and support the exact opposite position. So, yeah. But thank you, Fish. That's solid. All right. So thank you, everyone, for coming. Like I said, I'll be on later today. Hey, TV to me. So, like I said, I'll be on later today. With Atheist Church. We're still going through the rabbi's book. You know, the rabbi and I don't agree on God, but we agree on a lot of things. Oh, I'm sorry, TV to me. I got up because I had to. Well, you don't want to hear that, so. I will say, though, that I have allergies. So that's another reason I'm up. But I'm not stuffy right now. My nose is running off my face. Better than being stuffy, though. So anyway, all right. So, if you would like to become a member, please become a member. and support me. You can become a member for as low as 99 cents a month. You get custom emojis and debugs free. I do want to say this because I feel it's necessary to be said. Take care of yourself first. Do not press the join button if you don't think you can afford 99 cents a month. So that's it. I will see you guys later. And remember, the debunk is out for members. It will be out for everyone on Tuesday. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.